All right, so Draupadi Murmu has now scripted history. The NDA nominee has become the 15th president of India, the first ever tribal and the youngest occupant of the Rashtrapati Bhavan ever in this country. Her victory is certainly momentous in many different ways, described by the Prime Minister himself as a ray of hope for the poor, marginalized and the downtrodden as well.
So Draupadi Murmu got around 64.03% of the total vote value after 3 rounds of counting. Yashwant Sinha ended up with 35.97%. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with the senior members of his cabinet and the BJP chief, JP Nadda, visited Ms. Murmu's residence to congratulate her. Celebrations also broke out across the country.
Joining with me is the younger brother of Draupadi Murmu. Sir, जो ऐतिहासिक नतीजा आना था वो आ चुका है. कैसा महसूस कर रहे हैं आप अभी?
बहुत खुशी महसूस कर रहा हूँ। कहे मेरा दीदी मतलब राष्ट्रपति बन गया, उससे खुशी के बाद क्या हो सकता है। उसका भाई का नाते मेरे को बहुत खुशी है।
क्या आपको सर उम्मीद था कि इतने बहुमत से आप लोग जीतेंगे?
ये तो उम्मीद नहीं था, लेकिन जितना आदमी से वो हर जगह जाके संसद से और एमएलए से मिला, उसी टाइम से पता चला कि दीदी जीत जाएगी करके।
सर, इसके बाद अगला प्लान क्या है? कब आप लोग जा रहे हैं दिल्ली राजधानी?
हम लोग 23 तारीख का टिकट कर चुका है, दिल्ली 23 तारीख को जा रहे हैं।
सर, आखिरी सवाल, जिस तरीके से सुबह से रायरंगपुर के वासी यहाँ पे मौजूद थे, सपोर्ट कर रहे थे, नाच रहे थे, गाना गा रहे थे, उनके लिए क्या कहना चाहेंगे?
बस उनके तो उन लोग बहुत खुशी था, इसीलिए उन लोग को भी बधाई देना चाहता हूँ कि दीदी का मतलब खुशी में मतलब उन लोग जुड़ा हुआ था, इसीलिए उन लोग को बहुत बहुत बधाई है।
And now, while the win has certainly foregone a conclusion, it is the margin of this win that has certainly delivered a bigger message to the country, with around 17 MPs and 126 MLAs reported to have cross-voted. And these talks of cross-voting had been on from the very beginning of these elections, these presidential elections. And it is also being seen as a big jolt to the opposition, who has been trying to put up a united front to counter the BJP.
Now, while the parties have declared support for one candidate or the other, there is no penalty for cross-voting in the presidential elections. Meanwhile, the Assam Chief Minister tweeted that around 104 MLAs from the state had voted for Draupadi Murmu as opposed to the NDA strength of 79, a fact that did not go unnoticed by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister as well. Listen.
The numbers are out as far as the presidential election is concerned. Draupadi Murmu getting over half of the electoral college. I have with me Parliamentary Affairs Minister Mr. Prahlad Joshi. Mr. Joshi, it is an election outcome which was more or less on expected lines. But are you confident that you will be able to breach above 65% of the total electoral college?
At present, I hope that. And it is quite a proven fact that the decision of Honorable Prime Minister to choose her as the candidate for the president.
ये भारत के लोकतंत्र की ताकत है कि गांव, गरीब, किसान, झुग्गी झोपड़ी का इंसान भारत महान का राष्ट्रपति बन सकता है। तो सर्वोच्च संवैधानिक पद होता है किसी भी देश का। मैं समझता हूं कि इससे बड़ी खुशी देशवासियों के लिए और कुछ नहीं हो सकती है आज के दिन। और द्रौपदी मुर्मू जी को बधाई देने के लिए हम लोग यहाँ पर आए थे। उनको पुनः मेरी तरफ से बहुत-बहुत बधाई है।
And if that wasn't really enough, the TMC has now launched a preemptive strike on the anti-BJP coalition, declaring, even as the counting for president was on, that for the vice presidential polls, they would be abstaining from it. The reason apparently is that the decision was taken unilaterally without any consultation.
The opposition candidate was announced without consulting and deliberating and interacting with a party which has 35 MPs in both the house. Ideologically, I cannot support the NDA candidate, come what may. We have decided to refrain ourselves from participating in the voting process.
Meanwhile, the Congress party has now hit back because this is a bolt from the blue that has left the Congress party seething, with Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary calling Mamata Banerjee as a political fraudster.